Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Training Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding you to love life, live life, and trade. What's up, folks? From around the world. How is everybody? Hope you're doing great. Got the recording turned on. My boy Tony's in the house. My girl Francois here. Mauricio says, hey, man. Mike K says, we need to start with a round of applause for Dropbox Resurrections from the Dead. We do. That was a big help today. That was a big help. Joan was happy to see that as well. Yeah, so I'll be keeping a close eye on what tomorrow brings next 2-3 days because, you know, tomorrow or next week, if I'm profitable on all of our trades again, which would be rare, but if it actually happens, then I'll exit everything again. So we'll see. Awesome. Only thing I want to talk about, and I feel bad for not knowing this answer. I did pose it to two veterans, and we'll figure out the exact answer. But I am working on doing and starting back the Guess the Closing Price contest. Used to have those every so often. It was fun. Just kind of honestly forgot about it. And it's pretty much what we did today, where it's like, hey, guess the closing price of a particular company before X time. So anyway, we did a close of the SPY today. And it was very weird. So I know that sometimes the SPY can fluctuate the first 4 or 5 minutes after market close. Right after close, like 4 minutes after close, it was 279.29, I believe. Let me kind of scroll back down here. Yeah, so 279.29 was a close, at least according to TradingView and whatnot. And then right now, according to pretty much everywhere, the close is 279.37. But that's not really the concern, because I can get that. There can be some fluctuations. What I'm trying to figure out is how they're determining the close, because either I've never noticed this before, or I've never paid attention, or I was too embarrassed to ask. But it's definitely not the third one. We can rule out me being embarrassed about anything ever. So, I mean, I'm still baffled. I have no idea, because here's the 5-minute candle, and the close of the very last candle is in fact 279.30. So, I mean, the high of the candle, sure, got above 279.37. But why would that be the close? I mean, let me just go investigate. Does that happen on other stocks? Okay, so Apple 191.11, close of today, 191.04. Everything I have known about the market now has just changed. I don't know what to believe. It's a travesty. Okay, 1802, 1803. Oh, man. I'm not going to get any sleep this weekend. This is like a game-changing day right now. Does anyone know why this is different? Mauricio says 279.37 is in Thinkorswim. Agreed. It is in Thinkorswim. It's everywhere. It's in Yahoo Finance, and it is also in TradingView. I mean, it's everywhere that needs to be. But what I'm saying is the candle closed at a different price. I'm just trying to figure out the discrepancy between the actual closing price, which is this, and the closing price of the session. I get it that there's post-market trading and all that stuff. I understand all that. I know there's cash settlements. I get all that. And it's not just the indices. Exactly. It's not just the indices. So the daily chart, so yes, the daily chart, Francois, you're absolutely correct. The daily has it as a close of 279.37. Absolutely. But because that's the official time-stamped close. But again, if you go into the price, it doesn't close it. I don't know. I'm just like, my whole world is collapsing right now because have I just never noticed that in 10 years? Benjamin says, so the intraday last candle is not the close. That's what I'm saying. Tim says, I checked 1 minute to 150 minute, all shows 279.30. I know, I've done it too. Here's the hourly, 279.30. Here's the 1 minute, 279.30. Dude, I'm blown away. I have no idea what to say. Should I quit? Mind blown. So it's not just me. Okay, because I truly felt for the last 10 minutes like an idiot. For the last 10 minutes, I have thoughts of myself. I'm an amateur. I have no idea what I'm doing. How have I never noticed this? But you learn something new every day. I just didn't expect the thing that I would learn is that the closing prices are arbitrarily created. I didn't think that's what I would learn today. I didn't think I would learn that the market's like, let's, you want to round up 7 cents? They're like, yeah, sure. Let's round up. Because that's very important if you're trading an option, which I will say in the last 10 years, I've never had the fortune/misfortune of finding out. I've gotten very close, but yeah, I'm flabbergasted. So James, you guys have anything? Can anyone tell me this? So let me go back to SPY to tomorrow. What was yesterday? So Robert's throwing this future settle versus last trade. Is that what we got? All right. So yesterday's last closing was 276.86, and on the 5-minute yesterday was 276.90. Oh boy. You guys got to give me a second. I don't even know what to do right now. Boy, oh boy. Let's read this. Logically and theoretically, the last price trade should be the same as the closing price of a stock. However, the way we trade stocks in the markets we trade them have undergone numerous innovations over the last decade. Thus, the late afternoon online search for closing price last quote might reveal conflicting results. The last trade you see at the moment of the close may not truly be the last trade. With many stocks trading heavily at close, a few minutes are required to process orders and determine which among them. Okay. To make matters more perplexing, the closing price you see when you search for a quote often is a consolidated quote. This quote is delivered from a system that pulls transactions from all stock exchanges and puts them into one data stream. I know that. Shoot. I'm just at a lot. It's not, okay. It's not that I'm surprised by this. I'm surprised I've never noticed it. So what I'm going to now do is go back and look at every candle probably ever to see if that has always been the case. For the last 3 days it has. Let's go back farther. What was the last day? What was the last candle price? Closed here. 271.19 on June 29th. So June 29th. Nope, different. Now, that's the funny thing, Robert. So that's what I was kind of mentioning earlier. Robert says, you've never had an option expire worthless or get exercised because of it. I haven't. I've never had an option expire that was supposed to be out of the money or that was not in the money because of that quote. I don't know if anyone else has had that happen to them, but I personally haven't, which I'm not saying it can't happen, but I just haven't personally. Even with the settlement delays, I mean, I get delays, but it shouldn't be 2 weeks of a delay, right? Let's go look at the S&P index, and let's just see if it's the same with the minute. Sorry to just derail the train, but I have no idea. I'm just flabbergasted. Different on the S&P. Oh, jeez. Mike is throwing some consoling words. He says, Jared, just because you're the last one to ever notice this, it's going to be okay. Wow. Interesting. Man. Now you guys know what it sounds like when I really have no answer to something. This is the sound that I make. Blown away. All right. Well, I'm going to have to go back trade the entire S&P again, knowing that the prices are not the exact way. Tim says they're stealing pennies from us every day. They are. That's the thing. D-Man says, on the S&P, my broker uses official CBO close on value on the S&P, sometimes not really available until the next morning. True, but my question is it different than the candle's closing price on that day? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Mike says, I put a rounder in all my indicators. You don't? Oh, I guess I have to. So now I'm just going to – the reason I'm just so bombarded is like if I'm taking a trade and I'm looking at the candle, is that even the price? Yeah, I mean, it's like, is it? Maybe this might even be a good thing for me. It might help because now I'm just going to go, you know what? It literally doesn't matter what the price is. I'm just going to buy you whatever. What's expensive now? What's cheap? Numbers are irrelevant. Maybe that's the route that I will go down. It's all just imaginary anyway. Whatever. It's an event. That's a very, oh boy. All right. Well, it's not exact science. That's true, but price should be an exact science. Like the closing, it's a fuzzy science. Got it. Sharon says, let it go. Okay. I'm going to try. I'll try. Here's an irrelevant SPY chart. Here's a fictional made up whatever price that the market wanted to create on the screen for us today. Candle. It could be whatever it wants to be. We did have a very good gap today. Maybe. Maybe we gapped and we opened bullish today, and perhaps yesterday was a bearish close. It was a gap and go. People were definitely trapped yesterday. We gapped above the high of yesterday, which was the big deal. Now, we talked about yesterday, so with evening star reversal patterns, that's how you play evening stars, right? That's how you play them. Evening star reversal patterns, you got to wait for a close below that third candle. So we didn't get it. I mean, I was saying, hey, if we get it, I'll buy the dip down here, right? I was just kind of prepared to wait and go along. Just did not happen. That's a very good gap on the SPY, maybe. And the weekly is a retest gap. So what will be really fun, again, very similar to this gap right here, is we probably do make a new high. And guess where all the newbies are going to hop on? Probably right about there. And then we'll probably get the retest and then it'll bounce. Again, it's not going to look exactly like I'm drawing right now, but something similar to this. So I like the move. Today is Thursday. I think tomorrow might be Friday. And with the movement, we'll see what SPY does. But likely, I think we're going to go higher. So you should be in bullish on some things. We have some trades open. We'll look at those today. The Dow. Someone texted me today and asked me why the Dow Jones was bearish, to which I replied, are you talking about this year or like what time frame? And then he said that, he had a newsletter that said the market was bearish. And I told him, I actually called him on the phone. I said, please unsubscribe. Who's this newsletter and unsubscribe forever. So yeah, the Dow Jones, definitely not bearish by any stretch of the imagination. Nice gap, good trend, things are looking good. We're just consolidating, right? And I love the fact that the moving averages kind of peeled in together. I like the move. Type in a 1 if you guys agree that we could have a 1% down day tomorrow. We should see a lot of 1s because we're still in that market. We're going to have a lot of gaps up and down. We're going to be choppy. That's why I'm trying to find some swing trades that are different than the broader market. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of that. And when we get in, we'll take some gains quickly. We'll get out. But that's going to be kind of our goal, is just to hop in, hop out, and make some magic that way. Here's the IWM, and the IWM had a pretty decent day. I do love this candle. Nice little lower shadow candle. Looks good. And, things are looking nice. And then, of course, since today is Transportation Thursday, here's the IYT. Just ignore all of these prices right here because none of them matter. So, so the IYT, you have a little bit of a high wave candle. It's kind of like an inside candle. Not an inside. It is a perfectly inside candle, if, of course, the prices are correct. And here's the long-term moving averages. We're right on top of the 200. So I like this on the IYT. Very nice. This is going to be a fun Thursday because tomorrow and or next week, if we pop out of there, I think we would be in store for a decent little move. And I think you'd have the opportunity to do bull put spreads, maybe some calls, some direction, something like that. But I do kind of like the candle. I agreed the volume is pretty much abysmal on IYT, but that's what I got. Okay, that's the broader markets. Any questions, concerns, thoughts, or monumentally life-changing, life-altering price discoveries that you might have had recently? James says the rug pull starts end of July, in my opinion. Benjamin says, I was telling the future traders to be careful because I close all my shorts today, so we probably going to have a big dip coming tomorrow. So Ben got out of the shorts, so we probably go down tomorrow. Certainly possible, man. I mean, we could have a small little pullback. We likely do at some point, but late July, I'm kind of more inclined with James. I think this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 2, 3 more days, and then people hop on bullish, and then we get the pullback. It just makes a lot of sense for all the newbies to hop on when we break out. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on the SPY. We'll see, man. We'll see. So, yeah, don't stress about it. Just keep those R's that you made yesterday protected. Campbell's chicken noodle soup. Woo! Nate says, it is a new moon. Oh, yeah, that astrological symbol. I'm telling you, man. People love it. Very cool pennant pattern on the weekly. So keep that in mind on Campbell's, just for anyone who's looking at playing it. You'd probably want to play it bullish, but if it breaks down, remember it is Campbell's, so don't short it too hard. Probably look to buy the dip into that gap down until people stop eating that delicious, chunky chicken pot pie Campbell's soup. I would probably look to be long on a really long-term scale. Campbell's, to me, would be an investment type of company. I've had some trades on it before, but if you really zoom out, that's pretty much what Campbell's is doing. Still stronger than GE, but, this is a good buying spot. It's just going to take a little bit of time to really chop around. I do like the pennant pattern. I would like to see it break down. And anyone who's looking at playing it bullish, I'd love to see a move down here to about 39.25. Someone's typing in the chat pane. So are you telling me the markets are rigged? They're built for people to lose, yes. Yeah, the markets are built for most people to lose. That I agree with. Yeah, simple as that. It's built for a lot of people to lose. And it is built for those in control and those who own to make a lot of money. Now, I could say own companies, own exchanges. If you own a company, you're pretty happy about the market. If you IPO'd and you're worth a few billion now, you're happy that there's a market. It's designed for capitalism 101, and capitalism has a lot of flaws, but has a lot of upside as well. James says, it sure isn't our friend. No, it is not. It's kind of like if you tamed a wild bear. It's still a wild bear. You know, so you can ride it a bunch of times on at the circus, make some money, you know, have some people take some photos. You know, you make a living off of riding this bear. But at some point, you never really want to let your guard down because it is a bear. You know? Whatever that analogy means. All right. Borgwarner, BWA. So the last time I was looking at this was the daily chart. And I drew that we would either rotate down and then bounce, or I don't know. I think I forgot to delete this candle because I don't think I would never draw a wave like that. So I think that was just like an accidental drawing. But we did have a pretty good gap down yesterday, and I am sad that I did not catch that. Let me see if I could have. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Whose fault is it that I missed this trade? Oh, I'm blaming Tim Thurman. I haven't blamed him for a while. Tim, where was my Borgwarner text message, man? Look at this support. Look at that 5-minute candle. Jeepers creepers. Wow. What a doji, says Eric. I know. Now, what's even better is look at this gap on the daily. Look at that little cute candle up there. It's like, hey, what's up? I'm here to party. And it just gaps down. Plus, it's a retest gap. Sensational. Yeah, my thought was that Borgwarner would have, it was a retest gap anyway, so I mentioned this on the weekly. That was that line. Okay. So that line was me pointing to it. I just forgot to take it off. Long-term moving averages. Oh, okay, you got the long terms right there. Yeah, I'd wait on BWA a little bit. Those are going to be very powerful since they're right on top of each other, very compressed. If you play BWA, wait for a close above a resistance, then play the retest, and then the bounce of the retest. Simply meaning, if you're playing BWA, look for a close above this candle, and when you get that close, then buy that dip. Because it's going to chop around a lot at those long terms on a weekly. RLGY. Now, I want to bring this one to your attention for no other reason than I've been getting a lot of messages about this, and I have no idea what company it is. I've gotten a lot of requests for it. I've seen a lot of posts on Twitter. Does anyone have any idea what this company does? I haven't looked into it yet. It's a real estate, which is interesting. Reology Holdings Corporation. Eric, is this the company that you own? Is this yours? The reason I'm bringing it up, look at this support that it's at. Wow. That's a monthly chart too. So I'm going to do a little bit of digging. We'll find out if you guys want to throw some more info on RLGY. I think it's kind of an interesting spot of which you could bounce. So fundamentally, I just like to know what it's doing. Technically looking at the daily picture, I'd love a close above 23.94. I mean, you got that Chris Hemsworth hammer of Thor right here. So we can see what's going on. It's a real estate relocation service company. It owns and franchises several real estate brands and brokerages and offers relocations, title, and settlement services. So nothing sexy. Pretty much your general bread and butter real estate services. Except for the relocation. That's interesting. Do they work with the FBI? Is it like the Secret Service? That'd be kind of cool. All right, we'll do a little bit more research on that, see if they're viable. But even just regardless of what they do, it's irrelevant and to an extent. This is a nice inverted head and shoulders pattern, and I'd like to see it close above there. So we're going to look at it again on Monday and see what's happening. All right, Mr. Therms. He said, I'll have you miss BWA, but I won't have you miss McDonald's. All right, I'll put McDonald's on the list. Is it MED? Yeah, MED. Medifast. I think Sherry wanted me to look at Medfast. Food processing company. Reese says they're the go-between for real estate agents and companies who are moving clients. Oh, okay. Okay, which means that could be a cool company to really look into in September, which is real estate month, by the way. So September is going to be fun. If you are a real estate expert or agent or in that field, let me know. I'd love to interview you during September. Maybe have you write an article, do a video, talk about it. Medfast. Whoo! Look at this. Powerhouse. I would have loved to tell you that I was in something on this, but I have no position on this thing. I mean, this is just going bananas. I agree that it's in a really strong trend. If you're in bullish, cool. You probably have a nice tight stop at about 158.08. If you're not in bullish, I mean, the absolute, I would want to pull back into this purple line, which is at the previous resistance, so 163. Other than that, I want it off the 50. Medfast. I mean, because on the hourly, right, you can trade pretty much anything on the hourly. It just comes down to risk and get in, get out pretty quickly. I could see it pull back to 164.70 with a stop at about 161. So that's $3.70 of risk. I could see it continuing the trend. The trend looks very nice, but I would not be buying a lot right here, especially with a retest gap right there and a retest gap right here. At some point, this thing needs to pull back a skosh. Yeah. Even if it just trades sideways, but definitely bullish. All right, I had one trader play CORI, and another and got stopped out, and then had another trader play it like this, 790 by 720 on CORI. So I'm looking at this one for another trader out there on the floor. I personally have no position in this one, but I do like that support. Ben says, is it a tweezer bottom? I mean, I'm going to hover my line over the price of the candles. That's not going to tell me a lot, but it will tell me that it's almost a tweezer bottom. The lows of these are 3 cents off. This candle low so far is an inside week, which is a really big deal. Very big deal is an inside week, 3 cents from the low. Corium International's pharmaceutical healthcare company. Plus, you got a really nice hammer. You got a good hammer yesterday. I like this candle. Not a very expensive stock. Here's the hourly chart, and you can see a pretty classic double bottom. This is nice. So whoever requested CORI, I get it. It's good. Ben says, is it bad that I want the short? I want to short the fail. It is. It is bad. Because it could bounce really strongly down here. Yeah. But if it does fail, then you can short it. But if it doesn't, then go long. All right. No worries, man. I get you. Trust me. There's a lot of I find myself doing that often. And I have to go, wait a minute. So when a stock's doing this, I'm like, okay, trades up and trades down. I'm like, okay, it's out of support. I want to short it. I'm like, wait a minute. This is where it should bounce, kind of thing. So yeah, you're totally right. Now the ironic part is it could break and it could go lower, but there's a lot holding it up right now. I really like this weekly look. First time interacting with it, I dig it. I think it's nice. Okay, I'm maybe making some notes. All right, CORI. Next on the list, Hasbro. So Hasbro, is anyone still in this trade? And if you are, congratulations. I'm not. Remember my plan on Monday. I had to exit my swings. Don't feel bad about it at all. Made a good trade on it. Didn't make as much as I could have. But congrats for those who played Hasbro. We nailed that one. Nailed it. So Hasbro, I'm out. We're done. It was a good trade. Earnings is around the corner. So we'll look at it sometime next week. But for the present moment in time, you have yourself a pretty delicious little trend. Doesn't look bad. So if you were kind of looking for, all right, I would love to find, a nice little bullish trend. This is a good one. Buy the dip. I would agree. And that's pretty much my thoughts on Hasbro. Okay, good trade. Next on the list was CXW, and keeping our eyes on this one to see what it would do. And it did close above 24.43 yesterday, and it did retest that level today. The reason I wanted to do that is because of the weekly 100 simple. So whoever requested this stock and whoever wanted to look at it, I think you would do something like this. You would probably do a limit buy really right about here, 24.28 with a stop. I mean, aggressive stop would be here at 23.15. A little bit more of a conservative stop would be about 22.28. So you can either risk $1.50 or $2. So that would be Core Civic. Totally up to you, fine folks, but whoever requested that one. I'm not going to play it personally just because I can't be in everything, but that's pretty much the only reason why. By the way, did someone say IQ? We'll come back to that one in a second. Here's DAN. Looked at this one on the other day. Dana Incorporated, auto, truck, motorcycle parts, consumer cyclical company, bouncing off the 200 simple on a weekly, trying to form a morning star on a weekly. And here's the daily chart. Oh, Mr. Squiggs doing dirty work. Gronius. Here's the hourly chart. Oh, boy. Oh, Squiggs. So now we get to figure out if it's going to bounce on DAN. So, I mean, this is the cool part when you're kind of timing something. You're either buying the limit, right, buying it at a cheaper price, or you're going to go, okay, now that it's done that, let's see if it actually goes higher. And you can turn that into a stop limit for anyone trading DAN. Again, I'm not taking this trade personally just because I can't be in everything. But I really do like this setup. 2102 by 2002 looks fresh to death. I mean, that's a nice dollar worth of risk. And you can take the stop and put it at 2025. Another week later, move that stop up to 2056. A lot of good trades. And the cool news is, Ben was asking earlier, how do you determine what trade to take if you have so many trades in front of you? And my answer was, well, it comes down to capital. That's a huge, I mean, if you got less than $5,000, you're not really trading that much anything. I mean, you're buying one or two stocks, maybe holding them for a while and growing that account as you learn. If you have more, larger capital, you can trade a lot more positions. You can have a smaller R. So someone emailed me recently and was kind of blown away when I mentioned that 1 to 2% is a good risk tolerance, but they asked the question, could it be smaller? And I said, yeah, it can be as small as you want if it mathematically makes sense. Meaning, let's say you have $500,000 that you're trading, right? 1% of that, 1%, can't type, is $5,000. But what if you wanted to do a $500 R? And that would be 0.1%. Right? I think so. Is that math right? 0.1, pretty sure. So, yeah, I mean, 0.1%. You have 5 or 6 trades, but that's still your R. Right, so that's still your R. So you can trade more, so to speak, and you can have more trades, and even if you lost 10 of them, you'd still only lose 1%. So you can think about it like that. You can obviously have lower risk. Christian says brokerage fees will kill you on $5,000 if you trade with a small R. Absolutely, yeah, it's horrendous. So when you have a small account, it really is less is more. I mean, it's a grind, it's a battle. I have a lot of good videos about that. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you do have a larger account, obviously you have the ability to take more trades. But in that same instance, you can't be in everything. I can't be in everything. I wouldn't suggest being in everything. So you should have a plan with how many trades should you be in at once. And that will depend on how much you're risking, right, on every single trade. Also, in the same instance, if you're looking at trades, and I told Ben earlier, you want to take some trades that you absolutely love, that you love everything about them, and you want to take some trades that make you a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, this is out of support. Should I just buy here at the support? The answer is, if you planned it 24 or 48 hours in advance, like this particular stock. I mean, I did this analysis on Tuesday. If I had the funds available to take this trade, I would. Well, let me rephrase. I have the funds available if my plan allowed that much of allocated risk on any given particular month. Because right now I'm pretty much at my threshold for how many trades I can be in, be open, and have risk allocated on the table. So does that make sense? Type in a 3 if that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Because every single person has different account sizes, and I want to be that's why I use the R strategy, because you don't know if that person's making $50 or $5 million. You know, it's not that big of a deal. We all are just kind of on the same playing field. Matthew says under 3,000, so only do 2 or 3 trades at once at max. Yeah, at max. I mean, that's you're really going to be in when you have a smaller account. You're either day trading options, or you're finding really good companies and you're buying them and holding them and growing them. I mean, that's the thing is you save the money on commissions, you find one good company, and you put your money into that company. Because the reason I tell people is, again, you kind of get to choose if you're going to be doing day trading options, or if you're going to be, you could definitely day trade through the hedge fund. That's also an option. But I would say this is my opinion. The safest thing to do is take your 3,000, take your 3K, and put it into a no-brainer. What's a no-brainer? Can someone type in a no-brainer for me? All right, we got Apple, we got Facebook, we got Netflix. Those are all 3 of those no-brainer. Tesla. I mean, these are all companies that most likely will go higher to some degree. And if you look at the company and you go, all right, where's a good price to buy it, and you see a good support or you see a pullback, you buy into it. Christian says no bios. Exactly. No, nothing sketchy. Not okay, exactly like the company I was just looking at a second ago. The real estate company, I have no idea what they do. They do pay dividends, but unless you know exactly how they are, don't trade them. Nothing like LFIN. That is absolutely correct, right? Nothing like this travesty of a company. Okay, nothing like Riot Blockchain or stuff that you know nothing about. Dry Ships, Salesforce, absolutely. So the safest thing you can do is you take $5,000, and let's say you took $5,000, $3,000, and you bought Salesforce right here in April with $3,000. Now you put all $3,000 into that trade. This is one of the most common misconceptions, in my opinion, when people say, "Don't put all of your eggs in one basket." If you have a $3,000 account and you put $3,000 into one very safe, no-brainer stock, all of your eggs are not in one basket. Because that means that if you drop the basket, all of your eggs break. If $3,000 is all the money that you have in the world, and you have no job and you have no other sources of income, and you're counting on that $3,000 to live, you should not be trading the stock market. Let's regroup a little differently, right? Let's go down a little bit of a different path. Let's get you a job. Let's get you and build your resume, start reading some books. You're just at a different place, but you can get there. It's just going to be a little bit of a grind. And I've been in that grind. I've been there. I can appreciate that. It's really sucky. But what $3,000 into an Apple, Walmart, ExxonMobil, British Petroleum is not all of your eggs in one basket. $3,000 into something that literally could go to zero, that is all of your eggs in one basket. British Petroleum ain't going to zero. It's not going to happen. At least not in the next 10 years. I can guarantee I will. I mean, I'm literally putting my reputation on that, because if BP goes to zero in the next 10 years, I have a problem, big problem. Or Boeing, or like Sharon mentioned, the SPY or the Q. The SPY ain't going anywhere. anywhere. It means the whole market's gone. And it pays a yield. So, I mean, if you had put $3,000 into Salesforce somewhere on this obvious pullback, buy into weakness, $115 a share, okay? 115 a share, you put $3,000 into that bad boy on CRM. You bought 26 shares. Those 26 shares right now would be worth $3,860. You just made $860 in 4.5 months. Okay? And then take that 3,800, do the same thing 6 months later with another really good company that's a no-brainer, that's at a buy low, sell high. Or keep holding Salesforce, right? It doesn't really matter. But okay, so now you take 3,800, do the same thing with a Walmart, Facebook, Apple, okay, and 3,800 goes to 4,300, and then 4,300 goes into 4,700, and then 4,700 becomes 5,300. Now you become more confident. Now you've read 5 or 6 more books. Now you've worked with 2 or 3 more mentors. Now you put in some more time at work, and you slowly start growing it. Matthew says options are less risky than shares. No, absolutely not. Because, and let's go back to the all your eggs in one basket. If you buy an option, are all of your eggs in one basket? And the answer is yes, because the option can go to 0. They can absolutely expire worthless. So if you don't get the timing right, if you don't get the direction right, you don't buy enough time. Now, someone could say, all right, Jeremy, what about if you bought a leap on BP? Okay, so if you bought a leap on BP, I get that. Still not as safe as stocks because stocks aren't going to expire worthless. And you're going to get the dividends. So yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer, man. Shares are always safer than options. Options are less expensive. But less expensive does not necessarily mean less risky. Right? Would you rather buy a car insurance premium that's $10 a month or one that's $150? It's like, okay, a $10 a month is that protecting me for anything? You know, so if you have the risk to do it with us, you can obviously buy leaps, right? I'm not saying leaps are bad. I'm saying if you have a smaller account for $4,000 or $5,000, I personally would not advise on buying a leap unless here's the one caveat, the $5,000 account is a starter account if it's not your whole account. That's the unless. If you got $67,000 tucked away and you're like, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to trade this $5,000. Yeah, then sure. Why not? Buy a leap on Apple if it's at a good support. But as long as that risk isn't your whole account, that's what matters. So I know I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but it's going to help a lot of traders who have smaller accounts. And again, if you are day trading, you can day trade options. I love day trading options. I get all that. It's just a little bit harder. Okay, VNE. Veneer has not retested yet. Missed this one by a whole 18 cents. 18 centaroonies. So if you're playing VNE, newer IPO, this is a truck company, and here's the hourly chart, and you have a really nice pennant pattern. I'm seeing this as like a wave 3 or something. So really pretty, very, very pretty move. This could easily break higher. Let's give it one more day. See what it does. Will I still take this limit buy if it pulls down? No. Because this is an inside day candle. And if it breaks this low, we're going to go lower. So I'm going to come back to it tomorrow and see if we can catch a breakout or a little bit of a smaller pullback on the hourly chart. We'll look at it tomorrow. And also, if you want to day trade, you can put this on the day trading list as well. Friday morning, VNE, go for it. My brother Ricky, what's up, bro? All right, Redfin. So we played some Redfin back in our day, numerous times. And RDFN, this is the daily chart. What's the direction of Redfin? Would anyone like to take a stab at that one? What is the direction of this company? If the price that I'm looking at is accurate, it is sideways. Very sideways. So this would be good for option selling. An August $20 put brings you in about 25 cents, which is not bad. I think that's over earnings. My buddy Michael Thompson would do probably a naked straddle on this one because he's a boss. So you do like a $20 put sale and like a $28 call sale for August. One of them has to work. So yeah, he'd do 20 and 28. And, you know, if it keeps trading sideways, he collects his premium. If it pops out of here a little bit and comes back, then it's still, you know. So I like the sideways move on Redfin. Very nice. Eventually, she will break out, and we'll be there when she does. We'll look at it more next week just to see if it pops. And I'll pull it up on the chart. If it's not popping, I will move on to the next one. Next on the list, and yeah, I'm going to go a little long today. Shocker, right? I would love to know, on average, what the day of the week is that I go the longest. It's probably Thursday. Because by Thursday, we put in a lot of work, but the light is at the end of the tunnel. And, you know, I'm all excited because there's so much to talk about. But on Friday, I just want to be at Friday and go do stuff. So it's probably Thursday. This is a utilities company, NI, trading at a resistance. Here's the monthly. Whoa. Wow Town. Look at this. Look at that. NI Source Incorporated is a huge for a utility company. So I would wait. It looks like it's going to try to form an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Whoa, this thing is a mover. For a utility company? Just found my favorite utility company to trade. This one, if you're going to trade a utility company, trade this. I wouldn't invest in this one necessarily, but I would trade it because, I mean, it's a utility, but this thing is steamy. And it can move. Yeah, it needs a little bit of a pullback. So if it can close below 25.64, that'll be interesting. Now, I will say, I'm going to throw this one on my day trading list tomorrow. Type in a 1 if you already know what I'm about to say. Anyone throwing in 1s? You guys are scary. Memorize, reading the charts. Look at that pennant pattern. Today's an inside day candle, black inside day candle. If it breaks out of there tomorrow, hit it. That's good for a solid $1. Well, maybe not a whole $1, but it's good. Some calls, something. So yeah, if it pops tomorrow, I mean, it's been on a move, so why fight it? I'm simply saying I would prefer to buy it on a dip, but that's a cute candle. Very like what I like to trade. Hoo-wah! So this has been going, ladies and gents. So the Chinese stocks are on fire again. They've pulled back. They've rested. We had the obvious retracement that we were going to get. And so now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, all right, how are we going to play this bullish? That's the only question that I have in my mind. And I'd really like it to pull back and fill that gap, but it might have barely missed it. So keep an eye out on this one for sure. I'll be watching it bullish. I really wanted to pull back to 35.42, just didn't happen. So I'll probably look for this kind of thing. I'm not saying it's going to go higher. I'm simply saying I'm watching it to go higher. If she starts moving, I would love an inside day candle tomorrow. Oh boy, that'd make the setup the easiest thing I've ever seen since Pepsi. Pepsi was a no-brainer. Okay, 18. I would love an inside day candle tomorrow. All right, I'll put on the list for tomorrow. We'll come back to it. HUIA getting some steam. Okay, wow, I'm really behind. Jeepers creepers. Johnson & Johnson, pulling this one up for Mr. Robert Falconium. Had a beautiful gap today, up 1%. Earnings is around the corner. I like that double bottom on a weekly chart. And his covered calls at 135. Here's the long-term moving averages, and you got a little bit of a double bottom down here. So I would say on Johnson & Johnson, potential weekly double bottom. Okay. Possible weekly double bottom. Also, speaking of no-brainer companies, on J&J, I won't personally play this one. However, longer term, J&J is a no-brainer. Let's see how she gaps on earnings, but I like the 200 SMA as a long-term support. That's pretty much it. Janssen & Janssen. I'm Brad Johnson. Okay, there we go. I'll throw that in there, and we'll see what happens. Long-term iron condor. I posted on Johnson & Johnson recently. When did I post that? I do not remember posting it. It must have been a while ago. It must have been during 2015. Had to have been. Boom. April 20th, 2015. I was like, when in the world would Johnson & Johnson have enough premium to do a condor? Except for then. Let's see if it worked. I honestly don't remember. It's a little surprising. Kind of. 110, 105. June. Yeah, that one worked. Yep. I don't remember doing any unravels. Like a charm. Came right up to the long terms and then failed. Beautiful. All right. That was the last time I did a condor in Johnson & Johnson. I didn't know how long ago that was. 3 years ago. So, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on J&J. I do love this candle. We will look at Johnson & Johnson again next week because there are a few of you in this one. And you could only hope for a non-event on earnings and then a break higher because this is a beautiful gap today on Johnson & Johnson. Sharon's in some shares. Beautiful stuff. IQ back to tearing up the streets, ladies and gentlemen. Back to tearing up. Mr. Squiggles was on fire with this one. Now, granted, it didn't trade exactly as sideways as long as I was expecting, and that's fine. And it didn't quite get to the 50, which we talked about. And those put sales, type in 3 if you made money on put sales. There was about 100 traders in put sales on IQ. Because that was the one I was like, come on, guys. This is a $20 put sale. That was free money. Now, this is a retest gap today on IQ. By the way, I had a trader make 2 Rs on a day trade on IQ, his first 2-hour trade ever. He's new to real life trading. Type in a 7 if you can see the retest on that one. Now, I didn't play it, but I mean, come on. What? I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but I heard tales that if you looked in the sky long enough, you would have seen a one-eyed pigeon. Look at that pennant pattern right there. Very nice two candle pennant pattern. You got a morning star reversal from the heavens. An S curve of the ages. I mean, ugh. So again, didn't trade it. I can recognize the opportunity though. But the good news is this guy did. And here's this guy. That's MU. Let me keep scrolling down just so I can bring it up. Here it is. Oh wait, shoot. That's his final product. We were chatting earlier today. Here's his trade. So he said thoughts, and I said, looks good. And that was it right there. So he got in at 32.01. He didn't even wait for that morning star to form. He just bought off of that pattern. Had a nice stop, took his trade. I don't know how much he exited as target 1 or target 2, but yeah, beautiful trade. I mean, got in right here off the 20. Because here's the thing, someone had to do that, right? Who buys off moving averages? I mean, someone has to. That's how they work. Anyway, beautiful trade on that one. So good job, Jordan. He is in the hedge fund. He is a coaching student of mine. He's put in a lot of work, guys. A lot of work. He's been working. Blue Apron. A Pirane up 6.1 today. Oh, there's a gap up. That's what I'm talking about. Get up there, Blue Apron. Sharon says, when we follow our plan, magic happens every time. I want to hold Blue Apron to 50. Who's with me? So here's the biggest challenge. We did hit the 50 on the weekly at 393. It's going to be up to you how you want to play Blue Apron at this level. Let's go back really quick and look and see what Etsy did when it popped out of here. For those of you, oh, it just blew right through the 50 and retested. That's what I was hoping for. Look at that. It just crushed it. Didn't even turn back. Okay. So Blue Apron, we'll trade it at 2 Rs, and that's where we'll get out. For the short-term trade, I'm in it for the bill-paying money. You want to play it a longer term. There's already a few of you in it much longer, and I applaud you. I'm glad. Some of you were in since the mid-twos. So, right, Ricky, you can make fun of, or not make fun of, you can go tell Andrew and Taryn, Blue Apron, 445. Look how convenient. It's going to happen right out of resistance, too. Now, will we get there? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not going to hold this forever, but you got to love today's candle. And if it gaps up again, I don't think they're still in, though, unfortunately. I think they got out right there, which is not a bad place to exit. But I suppose all about time frame. Is it an invest? I mean, talking about a cheap stock, I wouldn't say this is a no-brainer. I will say that up front. If I had $3,000 and I bought this stock, I probably would have a stop. But Matthew says, is that a morning star? Where, Matthew? What price you looking at? Today? Oh, no, this is no Morningstar. This is I would just simply say this is an inside candle, and this is a bullish gap and go, new white soldier type of thing. Got a bunch of Morningstars down here, but right now, no. Nate says 55% short float. Oh, that's right. Nate for the win. Thanks, bro. You're so right. That's gonna storm. Okay, Blue Apron looking good. Square, ticker symbol SQ. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. This is probably the top 5 most owned or most traded real life trading stock out there. I say real life trading, we're not like, you guys know what I mean. Just all of you are trading it. I got the July covered call. It's going to expire worthless next Friday. And congrats for those of you in. Talked about it yesterday. Hope you bought off that 50 because why not? Why would you not? Gorgeous trend. I mean, inverted head and shoulders pattern. Ben sold his calls today at close for a profit. Congrats, Ben. Yeah, I think that one's just going to slowly keep climbing. It'll pause a little bit at 68, 66. I will say for those who have shares, and there's a lot of you, I'm going to do an 80 August covered call next week. Well, the week after next. All right, next on the list, we have Alt BABA, AABA, which is not really doing much. It's very similar to BABA. Pretty much what BABA does, Alt BABA does, more or less. You had a very interesting gap down yesterday. You had a little bit of gap up today. Pretty similar to BABA. If I were playing it personally, I would need a close above today, and I would have a stop pretty much there. Yep, and it would look something like this. Close above 75, 65 with a stop loss below the low of yesterday, and that's it on AABA. Which means if that works, BABA will probably work. Has a little double bottom pattern. Yeah, it looks good. Here's your Morningstar reversal right here. And that is, I mean, I know it seems super obvious, but it is. I mean, one white soldier on April 26th. Yep, so AABA, that's how I would play it. Next on the list, we have KDP. I think KDP is the old Dr. Pepper. Keurig Dr. Pepper. Wowzers. What is this doing? Keurig Dr. Pepper. Storming the castles. Whew. All right, Ben, that's your fault, man, for not telling me about that gap. This has to be, is this chart accurate? I mean, it's not like the prices would be off or anything, and we can't trust what we see. Let me go look at this on TOS. I think this chart looks off. It almost looks fake. And I'm saying that like seriously. Is it? I think today is its IPO. The last 3 days. Yeah, the last 3 days. Okay, that makes sense. This is where it starts, this candle right here. Yeah, Keurig bought Dr. Pepper. That's it. So if you go type in KDP into Thinkorswim, you're only going to get 3 candles. So it's a new chart. I knew something looked off. I was like, no, that's too easy. I would have seen that. I was about to quit just trading, and I would have just gone, I'm leaving. If I didn't see this somehow. So what do you guys think? Keurig Dr. Pepper, no-brainer company, $25 a share? Yeah, no-brainer. Buy the dip, buy the pullback, solid long-term play. We'll look at it, more next week. I do like the trend, so I'm with you. Let's buy a dip, but we only have 3 candles, so kind of play it like you are seeing just these 3 candles. So it should look like X out of this. It should look like this. Kind of like that new IPO, a new IPO feel. Okay, next on the list, welcome to Southwest Airlines. You can fly for peanuts. Not anymore, you can't. Possible inverted head and shoulders pattern. Earnings is around the corner. Everyone's starting to see this pattern. If Southwest gaps above 54.34, takeoff has begun. I've been talking about this price as a buying price. I know a lot of you had to hold through this one for a while. It's going to go at some point, yeah. The news today was really dumb about the whole peanut thing. No one cared about that. In fact, they're probably going to spin it and make it a good thing, and they already are, which obviously I'm fine with. I mean, I'm really not upset at this. In the long run, it's just going to save them money. They'll come up with something else. They'll give cookies or something. Hopefully Jack and Cokes. But August, Falco has a covered call. Some people have a protective put. And we'll see what happens on Southwest. But if it doesn't gap up on earnings, we're going to hang out for a little bit longer. and keep trading sideways. We are in MGM bullish, and it's up 2%. Cool, I guess. Here's the weekly chart, and you got the 100 right there. So I like playing wicked pair of candles. I could have played this one a little bit better. I feel like we're gapping down super small pre-market. What I'm going to do is I will take off, if your commission structure allows it, I will take off 1/4 here. Unless by some miracle tomorrow all of our trades are profitable again. If all of our trades are profitable again tomorrow, so we have MGM, we have First Solar, we're probably gonna have to cancel Shopify, we have Dropbox, we have all this, Raytheon. I'll just exit. I'll send out another email or text message and go, okay, guys, I'm just gonna get out of everything. That didn't happen today because we were down on First Solar pretty much after 5 minutes of our open. But, yep, that's MGM. I'll take 1/4 off at 30.65, and then I will hold the rest up until 33. Next on the list, speaking of Raytheon, here's Raytheon, RTN. A few people triggered into Raytheon. Ricky's happy about this one. If you're not in, you can still keep it open. I like it. Trade looks good. You got a good gap. Ben's in. He's already profitable. A few other traders are in on Raytheon company. So I love the gap. Hopefully she'll continue. Earnings is around the corner. 200 is really my target. So I will keep an eye on this one for the next 2 or 3 days. If all looks well, then I guess we'll just hold until our target. Thanks for the chart, Ricky. I appreciate that one. If that one wins big, Ricky can get all the love on that. Okay, that's RTN, or I looked at Southwest. Honda Motor Company, HMC. Honda Motor, ooh, talk about another no-brainer company at a low level. Getting to a lower level. HMC, Morningstar reversal, especially if this candle closes like this and you get a break above 29.72. Honda, and that's a great one for a small account. It's Honda. If you drive a vehicle, you probably have driven or are driving a Honda. You know how they make money. I used to have a Honda Fit. Shout outs to the Fit drivers. That's pretty much it, though. It's a good level. Nice buying spot. Benjamin says, is it getting hit by tariff news? It is. Good thoughts. But, yeah, it is right now. Matthew says, low volume. That is because it's an international company. They're trading on multiple markets, Matthew. It's Honda. It's one of the biggest companies in the world. You won't have a problem getting in and getting out as far as volume is concerned. Welltower. I liked it. Wow, this is an interesting pattern on Well. A little bit of a REIT. Interesting. Okay, well, whoever requested well, I see what you're looking at. Inverted head and shoulders pattern, nice volume, good break, beautiful 3-day pattern. I wouldn't trade it bearish necessarily, but if it gapped down tomorrow, I'd probably wait 5-10 minutes and then look to buy the dip on Welltower and look for that trend to continue. It looks nice. Here's the weekly, and it's just hanging out. If anything, I would really appreciate a sideways trade for a few more days, or one more day, and then a continuation higher. But honestly, if it pulls back, I wouldn't short the pullback. I would just buy the dip. Trend looks strong on Welltower. Celgene, oh man. The trade setup of the year. That's going to be my favorite setup for a long time. So we did have a pullback. I believe earnings is around the corner. We're going to have to set this one up again. It's too perfect not to trade twice. July 26th, you bugger. Okay. We might miss it unless you want to hold over earnings, which a few of you will. Okay. So pretty much right there with a stop right there. Yeah, $2 of risk. Could do a bull put spread. Yeah, could do a bull put. I'm not saying it's going to continue up over earnings, but it could. Limit buy. And I think that's the daily 100. Yep. It's just too pretty not to try. If it doesn't trigger pretty much tomorrow, I might give it one more shot, but yeah, we're going to have to be in that. 7/12/2018, Celgene again. Made some good money on it recently with that good move. That was honestly the most beautiful chart I've seen all year. That setup was just blatant. Another great. It was great. Perfect gap and go. Okay. So Celgene, a little bit of an expensive one. I get that. You could play with options. If you wanted to. This one does have pretty good options for a swing trade. Yeah, we'll see how it moves. We'll see what we got. Okay. Next on the list, Tesla. Obviously, for Transportation Thursday, Tesla. My buddy Troy has a bull put spread expiring tomorrow. This one's going to be close for Troy. I am watching Tesla. I watched it today to continue lower. Double top, neckline retest. Weak if it takes out the low. So it did not close below yesterday's bullish candle, which is as Ben saying is a strong signal-ish. As long as it holds this level, Tesla will be okay. But if it closes below here, especially tomorrow, we'll probably trade back into the 280s. Probably want to buy something that rhymes with in-the-money put options expiring in August. But I'll be keeping an eye on Troy's bull put spread. That one should be close. I sense a little weakness on Tesla. I'm not saying it's going to gap down tomorrow, but if it does open below 311.79, I am going to be buying one or two put options. Okay. Next on the list, Goose, Canada Goose. So Canada Goose down 1% today. We talked about this one kind of having a bracket trade type of feel, and it is. Trend looks good. It's just waiting for the 20 to come up because it's moved so far, right? This trend, I was looking at shorting it, but it just never broke down, obviously. So huge run up, 100% growth in the last few months. Massive, massive move. Insane growth since its IPO just back in March, ladies and gentlemen. It's up hundreds of percent. So yeah, it's already made it's made a move. So if the trend stays intact, that's fine. Your stop's going to almost want to be below the 20. We probably do get there, but it's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to rest for a while. It's going to do something kind of like this most likely. And if it kind of pops out of here, great. But it'll just take a little bit of rest at a really strong trend move. So if you're in that one, just be patient. Home Depot and Lowe's both have some really good setups. I just, for some reason, love this candle gap. I almost can't explain it. It looks very, very naughty, but nice. Home Depot, I would do something like this, and yep. And I'll do something like this. And we're going to come back to that tomorrow. Maybe we cancel some of our other trades. Maybe we update them. Maybe we exit them. And we can add some risk. I can't be in everything, but I wish I could be sometimes. I would be in Home Depot. I love that setup. And I love it if we can trade sideways tomorrow. And here's Lowe's. I mean, obviously, I should have gotten in 4 days ago. I'm sure my boy and girl Sharon Baldwin did, though. Same thing with Lowe's. Inside pennant pattern. Just chilling. I really like the bounce off the 50. You have a delicious gap right here. Kyle Williams played Lowe's bullish, which was wonderful by Kyle. He could probably get in again. Weekly chart, nice morning star on the weekly. Thumbs up all around. So it'll either be Lowe's or Home Depot that I play. I won't be both. Probably Home Depot. Almost done. So here's Zoe's. Zoe's. Ooh, I wanted to see if it was going to close above here. Not quite. Not quite. It's getting close. So Zoe's, this is a new white soldier, one white soldier candle today. I am watching Zoe's because this thing is, I wouldn't say it's undervalued by any means. Definitely not a no-brainer stock. It's just a good setup. Had a huge gap. Looks like it's on exhaustion volume. It's a retest gap anyway. Have a lot of risk reward. Not a very expensive stock. If you love Zoe's, if you go there often, this could be a fun investment. We're going to look at it on Monday because really there's just so many trades out there that look good. You can't be in all of them, so just pass. But nice morning star reversal. Good gap today. Zoe's looks good. LTM. LTM, I forget who was asking about this one, but this is an airline company, and it did trade down to the 200 on a weekly. Another buying opportunity. I get it, folks. There's no way we're playing all of these. One person might have requested each of these stocks, a different person, right? So I'm not going to play LTM, but you can obviously see why one would. A little bit of a candle today. Beautiful pattern. Boy, oh boy. Close above 1043. Oh, there she was. Here's another baby. Something. Oh, there she was. I like it. Close above 1043. Get it. All right, and 3 left. Lending Tree, TREE. Good try, Newsom. You're almost there, buddy. You're so close. Here's a participation trophy. Lending Tree, consumer lending. Wow, volume picking up off the 100 on a weekly. Man, this is expensive. Jeepers creepers. Look at this trend on Lending Tree. Wow. Oh, guess who has 2 thumbs and really messed that one up? This guy. Yeah. Missing all of that. Lending Tree looks really good. I like the candle. I like the volume. I like the gaps. Obviously, the candle to get into was yesterday and or today. Here's the hourly chart, and that, I mean, you got a hammer of Thor right here. So Sherry, I like Lending Tree. If it were me personally, I would look tomorrow to buy a dip at 244 with a stop at 234, and I would exit a little bit at 256.50, and then I would get out of the rest sometime in August or September at 300. Next on the list, you got Wynn Resorts and Hotels. WYNN up 2%. Earnings is pretty close on Wynn. Put sale. Ron, he's got one at 150. I made some monies on Wynn with my bull put spread. You guys know how you were proud of me for making money on that and a few other people? You know how I got out right here and I thought I was really doing very well? I made 4 R's, saved my June, that whole thing. 47 R's. Had I waited 4 more days. 4 more days. 5 more days, 47 R's. That is correct. So, if you think you're having a bad day. Matthew said that would break records. That would have. It really would have. I mean, that option, oh, boy. Conan says not to keep in track at all. Exactly. I've totally forgot about that trade. I'm not even worried about it. Beautiful pennant pattern. Here's the hourly. Pat says, did you buy puts? I had a bull put spread of which I unraveled. Yes. Yep, I had a bull put spread, so I had long puts that went in the money deeply and could have gotten much more in the money. I like this gap today on Wynn. I really like the hourly pattern, and it's a new white soldier. I say go for it, especially if it breaks above this 20. So I know, Sherry, you're looking at playing it bullish. The 200 would be your target. If it makes a higher high and a higher low tomorrow, get wrecked. So many to look at. Tim Thurman's making up for the other gap. McDonald's gapping down tomorrow. He has a put sale. 157. Yep, that's going to be a fantastic gap tomorrow. 5-minute charts. Not that any of these candles actually matter. McDonald's for tomorrow morning. Put it on the list. That one you can play options with, and they're good. They're okay. They're not good. They're decent. They're playable. All right, folks. That was my day. Tomorrow is Finance Friday, and I will not be going along tomorrow. AVLR, CMCSA, JP Morgan, SOGO. I wonder where the gold is at. BJ's, Celgene again, OD, Lending Tree again, Cake, V&E, Hooah, and Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Raytheon. Bank earnings are tomorrow, so they're going to be exciting. Blake Anderson's on the microphone tomorrow. I'll also be there. We'll be chatting. It'll be great. You guys rock. Benjamin says they all beat earnings and they trade lower. Probably. World Cup happening soon. Matthew says Blake is in the swing room. Morning. He's in the morning room from 9 to 12 tomorrow morning. I'll be there from 12 to 2 and then back for Finance Friday from 5 to 6 Eastern. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, love life, live life, and trade it. I'll see you. Bye.